Hashtag, I don't even look anything like a millennial, do I? You know, problem is none of us look like who they think we are. I'm here to tell you that I don't believe there is a millennial problem. I don't believe there is a generational problem at all. I believe that companies are spending millions of dollars to find out how to solve a problem that they have created in an effort to explain their inability to lead, their inability to manage. So they bring in consultants who sit, look at the employees, and take stabs in the dark. They take guesses. They fill out charts. They give them quizzes. Yep, get a crystal ball. Go see Angela, the psychic reader across from my office. She's going to give you the same advice a psychic does. She is so much cheaper. So much cheaper than a consultant. Because here's the problem. What we do is we stare at a problem. We stare at the problem and we look at it until we think we can find a solution, because what we really want is we demand followers. We want people to follow us. And that's what we think management is. I've spent my life as a trial lawyer and as a professional mentalist and mind reader. I watch people for a living. It's what I've always done, and it's been my passion. But everything started to come clear to me when, in the mid-2000s, I sat in Dauphin County, Pennsylvania. I was appointed by the president judge to sit as a juvenile judge to hear juvenile cases. And as I sat one day in a courtroom, a young man named Ken came into my courtroom. Ken was 16 years old and evil. Ken hated me. I hated him. His probation officer hated him. He hated the probation officer. Everybody hated everybody. And they all told me every 6 months when we reviewed Ken's status, they told me what Ken was doing wrong. Ken then promptly cursed me out, and I locked him back up again. Every 6 months, until 4 months before his 21st birthday. Because at 21, he was going to be released from the juvenile system, whether he was rehabilitated or not. They brought him in front of me. He cursed me out. Same as always. And I looked at Ken and I said, in 4 months you will be free. 4 months. I will find out that someday you're either going to be a father and a husband, or you're going to be locked up and be a criminal for the rest of your life. Get out of my courtroom. And Ken left. 5 years later, my secretary calls me and says, Joe, can you come down to the lobby? There's someone named Ken to see you. I had blocked Ken from my mind. I came down the steps, I turned into the lobby, and there he was standing in the lobby. I was sure that I was going to die. I took him into the conference room because I didn't want him to kill my office manager as well. I like Betty, I didn't want her dead. So I took him into the conference room and I sat there, looked at him and said, Ken, why are you here? There it comes. He reaches in his pocket and pulls out a picture of a baby. And I looked at the baby and I said, what's that? It's my daughter. I'm getting married on Saturday. I stopped. And I looked at him and said, what are you telling me? You're getting married? And he said, I hated you, but you are the only person that ever gave me a choice. And I said, what choice did I give you? He said, you told me I could be a criminal or a husband and a father. Guess which one I picked? Well, the reason Ken was a problem in lockup is because Ken was always an outcast. Ken was the one on the outside in the opposite direction of everyone else. The choice I gave him was an accident, but what I gave him was a choice to be part of the human race. I gave him a human choice, an opportunity to take a position of nobility and be one of us. And that's the one he chose. Well, interestingly enough, when you're a leader, you can use rewards and incentives. And you can lure your people to do things, but those incentives will only last until those incentives run out, or until someone else offers more money, more benefits, and then the incentives dry up. The other thing you could do is become an aggressive leader. And if you want to push your people, they're going to scatter, panic, and go in different directions because people react to force differently. But much like Ken, we can treat all people as human. That's step one. The next question is, how do we get them to do what we want them to do? How do we make people follow us and do what we need done? Well, the answer is this. Everybody's inspired by a cause. Everybody wants to be drawn to something. This morning alone, I got 4 notices on Facebook that people had birthdays and they wanted me to donate money to causes because that's important to them. And those donations make them feel good. It makes them feel like a part of something. And those requests were not all from millennials, Gen Z, baby boomers. There was even one from someone in the silent generation. Every generation reaches out because they want to be part of something. They want to be drawn in. People want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, bigger than their leader. So, how do we give people a cause? You know, one thing we have to look at is what people want. And by the way, before I go into that, let me just say, what do people want? If you are a baby boomer and you look at a millennial and say all millennials want to work from home, or you're a millennial and say all baby boomers are not tech savvy, you are selling the other generation short. And by the way, spoiler alert, baby boomers, do not tell millennials you think they all want to work from home. Because here's the bottom line. We're the ones that drove multi-level marketing through the roof into a multi-million-dollar business because we wanted to work from home in the 80s. Oh, how soon we forget. And don't talk to me about man buns. Oh no, you baby boomers, you had mullets. I went for the feathered look, but that's okay. What is the cause people are looking for? Let's talk about a major cause. The greatest causes, revolutions. Think about a revolution. Revolutions are causes that pull people in. The American Revolution, 1776. An entire continent. We weren't even really a country yet. We said we were, but nobody believed us. An entire continent. A war was fought. Sybil Ludington was 16 years old. Betsy Ross, 24. John Paul Jones, the head of the Navy, 29. Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, baby boomers, and at 79, Samuel Whitmore went into war as a member of the silent generation. But all generations fought together side by side. Why? Because it was a cause they could believe in. They were human, and they found a cause they could fight together for. Because that is what we want. We want to be drawn to a cause. We want to pull together. I'm not suggesting we start a revolution. But if you make your company more innovative, you can create a revolution to become more powerful and a cause that people can follow. So the Revolutionary War Here is what the people did. They pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. What a commitment. Could you imagine if your employees committed like that? Could you imagine if your team members worked that hard? Well, the next thing you need to know is you need a big vision. Your vision has to be so big that everyone wants to be a part of it. So big that there is room for everyone. How big? How big? Well, we choose to go to the moon. Some of us remember that phrase. Some of us might even see it on the screen in a moment. Those words were spoken by John Kennedy. John Kennedy spoke to a young baby boomer. Young baby boomer, millennials, we were young once, don't forget that. He spoke to a young baby boomer generation and said, "We choose to go to the moon, not because it is easy, but because it is hard." And he made it all inclusive because he said it was a goal that would organize the best of our energies, and he knew that he could get everyone to work as one, and that was the vision. And then, that's in 1962. In 1969, 3 men traveled to space. There in Houston was a room of government employees, some of the most maligned workers in history, and they worked in that room. They didn't ask for breaks. They didn't complain about long hours. They didn't wander away from their monitors to have a cigarette. They committed themselves to bringing those 3 men to the moon and back. And they didn't do it for notoriety, that's for sure. Because here we are 50 years later, and we finally have learned that in a basement building in Hampton, Virginia, there were women in a segregated office working, doing math by longhand. Oh yeah, millennials, figure that one out. Math by longhand. These women segregated, hidden from the view of society. But they were committed to the cause. And those hidden figures have now come out in movies and book and are being celebrated for their efforts. They didn't do it for the glory. They do it for the feeling of commitment. And the view of going to the moon was so big that they could be included. And everyone swam in one direction. Now, you can have an ability to treat everybody as human. You can create a cause that everyone's drawn to, and you can make it all-inclusive. And you can give everybody an opportunity to find their nobility in that cause, or get out your checkbook, write your checks to consultants, and ask them what your people really want. Or you take a crystal ball. And the problem with consultants is they'd have to walk around the room with a crystal ball and look at each and every one of you and say what this person wants or what that person wants. Well, by the way, do you ever know how a crystal ball works? Would you like to know? Can I show you? I asked 3 people earlier today if they would stand up when I asked them to. Are they here and will they stand up? Let's see. Oh, one's there, one's there. Very good. These are my 3 people. I asked you to stand up, correct? Now, before I came up on stage, I asked you a question, but I didn't ask you to tell me the answer, did I? No, I didn't ask you to tell me the answer. I didn't ask you to tell me the answer. So each of you has a thought in your head, and you have not shared it with anyone in this room. Am I correct? Am I correct? Correct. Good. It's important because with a crystal ball, you look at each individual, and you might be able to tell that this person wants empowerment. This person wants money. This person wants a car. This person wants health care. But these three people each have something in their mind that is only in their mind. And you have not shared this with me or anyone. I need to say that again, correct? 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 Correct. Good. Whoa! My crystal ball worked. Do you know what I think? I got a feeling from you that the thing you want the most is you want to know that you are trusted. If I'm correct, please sit down. Thank you. Oh, you're young. You want to know you are getting somewhere. You want to know that you're getting better. You want to know that you are growing into a professional. Am I correct? Yes, thank you. That's one of my favorite. You just want to know you're appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. That happened. That definitely happened. It's more exhausting than any of you can imagine. Yeah, you can bring me in and I'll do that for your company. It's all crazy. But no, the reality of it is, I won't. You can go to a psychic, get that done, or just treat people as human. Give them a cause that they can believe in. Give them something that makes them feel included. And give them a sense of belonging. Jeff Bezos did it by creating Amazon with the largest vision, a horizontal vision of customer service across the planet. And everyone found their place. Steve Jobs did it in a vertical spiral. Apple to be the best computing company, and everybody jumped on board. Give people something to believe in, and they will move from you and me to us. And then you have your unifying vision where everybody is the same. That is what you need, because a true leader, a true innovator is truly a wonderfully great influencer and persuader. Go innovate, be successful, and act as one. Thank you.